From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell and I'm in London. I think trying to come down after the most extraordinary men's Ashes series off the back of a scintillating and entertaining women's series as well. We really have been treated over the last 6 to 8 weeks. Complete change of gear. Well, I say change of gear, moving on to the 100 competition. But the way England's men have been playing their cricket in almost fast forward mode, it's probably not such a big change of pace after all. But it's also the school holidays here, so seeing my niece and nephew, they're going to stay for a couple of days. So, well, that's also not going to be a change of pace either. That'll be fully fast forward as well. But it's certainly a good time of year at the moment.
Hello, Jim Maxwell, still here in London, celebrating the joy of Test match cricket and the whole of the Ashes series. The boys and the girls, it's been so much fun, it really has. And I'm still sort of savouring it all for a few days before I go back to the reality of winter in Australia and getting ready for some more cricket as we bumble along towards the World Cup at the end of the year.
Well, I must say, it was truly a spectacular test series and very heavily watched here in India as well. I'm Charu Sharma. Glad to be back in Bangalore, home, after running around for quite a few weeks. I last did the player auction for the Andhra Cricket League just a couple of days ago, and all these state leagues, as one may acknowledge, are the big scouting grounds for the IPL and, of course, perhaps for India too in white ball cricket. So it was nice to be there. But, of course, for Indian cricket, after that one major embarrassing lapse, losing that second ODI badly to the West Indies, things are back on track.
Charu, it's good to see you. And Jim, good, we've still got you in the country for a couple of more days, but there is only one place to start this week. And that is because after 167 test matches and a phenomenal 604 test wickets, well, there was a fitting end at the Oval for an Ashes legend. Well, it's fairy tale stuff for Stuart Broad because he decided to retire from Test cricket after a 15-year career, which produced so many golden moments. And it all ended in spectacular fashion at the Oval, with Broad taking the final 2 wickets to give England victory in the 5th and final Test against Australia to level what's been a scintillating Ashes series 2-2. Denying Australia the chance of winning the Ashes outright in England for the first time in 22 years. There was a guard of honour by the Australians for Stuart Broad when he walked out to bat on the penultimate day alongside his longtime bowling partner James Anderson. And those are really special scenes, not least when he hit his last ball in Test cricket for 6, but the atmosphere at the Oval really revved up once Australian wickets started to fall on the final day. Well, let's get a perspective on the series and on Broad from his teammate and England vice-captain Ollie Pope, who is at the Oval despite nursing a dislocated shoulder. Ollie, it's good to see you. I did catch up with you at the Oval, and I have to say you were in a bit of strapping then, but the strapping's gone. So how are you going with that injury?
Oh yes, right. The strapping's only gone out of just hating wearing it, to be honest. I'm meeting a surgeon this afternoon, and I'm hoping he's going to say that I can get rid of it full time. But while I'm sitting here, it's right. But no, it's such a special week, and couldn't be happier for Broady to finish the way he did. I think it's funny how some things are just meant to be for, I guess, amazing cricketers like him. And I think that was exactly especially that last session, that was exactly what was meant to happen. And that was that sort of fairy tale ending that every English fan hoped to get.
It was magic, wasn't it? Had you any idea as well that changing the bails over on the stumps could produce such magical moments? Because twice Broad flipped the bails and then took a wicket the very next ball.
Well, I've seen it tried before, and I think it was tried a little bit in that India series a couple of years ago, but it never actually came off, especially not the ball straight after. So for it to happen 2 and 2 again, written in the stars again, so that bit of Broady magic. So no, it's pretty cool.
So you were there as a spectator at the Oval. Were you involved in the post-match celebrations? How did that all work for you?
Yeah, so I just went up and watched with the family and friends with Leachy actually on the last day, knowing that hopefully, obviously we wanted to catch up with the guys after and sort of obviously Broady finishing, so we made sure we both made it into the Oval and then popped into the changing room probably about 45 minutes after play and just, had a toast to Broady and obviously the guys as well, and just sort of to celebrate such an amazing test series. And no, it was something that I didn't want to miss, I guess, sort of saying farewell to him. We've shared some amazing memories on the pitch, and he's obviously, just to even hear the guys speak about him was pretty cool as well, guys like Jimmy. So didn't want to miss that.
Jim and Charu are going to chip in as well with some questions.
Jim Maxwell here, Ollie. Yes, good to see you looking a little bit fresher and hopefully healthier after your little setback there. An epic series, of course, breathtaking moments. What was it like for you watching or seeing England pull off that victory to level the series?
It was amazing. Watching the last 3 tests, I realised it's much harder watching than it is playing. In a way, you get a lot more nervous and you get a lot more anxious when you're kind of on your own watching it all unfold in front of you. But no, that last test, I think when it started raining on day 5, I was just like, not again. And it was pretty flat. I was just sat with Leach and we didn't really say anything for probably half an hour to each other, thinking it's not meant to be like this. This isn't the way it should finish. But no, it was just so exciting. And you sort of realise how good Test cricket is to watch, especially with these 2 teams going at each other. Obviously, different styles of play, but I love watching the way both teams go about their stuff. So, no, I'm quite happy it's over now because at least I can go out and enjoy my days rather than feel like I've got to watch every ball because I'm so glued to it and invested in the series.
So just into the England dressing room, we're on the broad theme here. So give us a sense of what it's like or has been like to have Stuart Broad as a teammate.
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, I remember when I came into the team, I'd only played, I think, 13, 14 first-class games. And I remember, all you do when you're sort of 19, 20 is you hear of these guys, Jimmy, Broady, I wonder what they're going to be like. I hope they welcome me into the team. And I think at the start, those guys see players come and go throughout their career. So they obviously know how to sort of introduce a player. But I think especially over the last 3 years, Jimmy and Broady have been, I think for guys like me and Zach, I think because those guys almost peaked in their 30s and but they played since 20. They became the top of their game and they realised what they need to do to be successful when they got older. And it's like they just wanted us to just relax, enjoy the week. And that's exactly what sort of Brendan and Stokesy have allowed us to do even more. But Broady's always been such a good teammate in that you can tell how much he wants the success of you as a young player, and obviously being a good pal of his, it's like he just really wants you to do well. Especially, I think for me and Zach over the few years that we've been playing with him, and whether he can sort of just take us for a round of golf, say just chill out the day before, and those kind of things. But so that's been part of what's been amazing. But and also I think we sit in a corner at Lord's next to each other. We always sort of look at each other and we go, what a corner this is. And we always talk about it being a really good week. And he's just sort of when Broady speaks, he's not always someone that speaks in a team environment. But when he does, people are sort of holding on to every single word that he says because he's obviously got so much experience and knowledge of the game. So that if he's speaking, he's grabbing the whole room, which is another great skill in itself.
Hi, Ollie. This is Charu Sharma from Bangalore, India. I'm glad that your injury is on the mend. Now, as a tribute to or as an endorsement to your incredible abilities on the field, I believe Broady has actually nominated you to be the next captain of England. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Also, has he been of a personal influence on you in terms of the game or even outside the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, I think him and Jimmy have both sort of... I've been in the England team or in and out of the squad for 5 years now, and I've probably only the last sort of year and a half I've really managed to sort of start playing like I know I can. And I think for the years before that, Broady, if I'd listened to, I think someone like Broady a little bit more and almost just like he would always talk about relaxing into a test match, enjoy the week, do your training, but even day before, don't feel like you need to go hit, don't feel like you need to hit hundreds and hundreds of balls. Just chill out and then save your energy for on the pitch. And I wish I'd listened to him that a little bit before the last year and a bit, because I think him and Jimmy have always said it to, I think, like I said, guys like me and Zach. But I think it's been really reinforced by Stokesy and Baz. So it's like, right, this is what he meant all those years. And it's just like you can, like I said, you can just tell how much he wants success from his teammates and especially younger guys coming through. And he's a very level guy as well. So you saw in his interviews post-retirement, he's not someone to sort of start crying in front of the camera. He's not someone who's gets too down on himself. He's a very realistic guy and he sees things. he sees problems and all he's thinking is, how can I solve this problem? And that's something good that I think all cricketers can learn off. Don't get too emotional in the situation. Just see the problem if there is a problem and just deal with it. And that's something that he did amazingly well. And I thought it was pretty cool just how he goes about his Ashes series as well. I mean, he's going to make the papers probably 2 months before an Ashes series, whether that be just doing an innocent interview, and so he'll say something that makes the front pages. So that's a good skill in itself.
Chief winder-upper.
100%.
Ollie, I believe you're expected to return to action sometime around November. And I've also heard that you have gone on record saying that I hope my first match is not against India. Wonder what that's all about. But I do want to know your reaction and of the other players who play for England. What are your thoughts on a tour to India? What are the specifics?
I think I only say that I don't want it to be my first game is because I know I'm going to be hopefully fit from the end of November. So that's nearly a 2-month period where I can just get some game time in wherever that be, whether it be in England colours or some club cricket, just to get the pace of playing again. But no, I think a tour of India, we know it's going to be tough. I think we tour. I've only been on one test tour there during the COVID time, and we were faced with extreme conditions. Obviously, it was COVID, but the pitches were tough. With the skill bowlers, I guess Ashwin and Axar were the main two threats in that series, and they bowled amazing. So I think the good thing is now we know what to expect as young players. I think guys like Stokesy and Rooty had been there before. They knew what they were going to come out with. If the pitches were flat, which they can be in India, they know how they want to play. And if the pitches are going to spin a lot, you can manage your expectations a little bit and work out how you want to go about it. And that's exactly what I think this good preparation time will allow me to do, is just work out my scoring options. How can I zone in and make my defence as tight as possible to deal with those? I mean, Ashwin's, I think, is the best off spinner in the world. And he's got great skills. So for me, it's going to be working out how I can see the ball, see the flight, and how I want to put him under some pressure myself as well. But also have a tighter defence than I did last time. So the great thing is I've got months to do that, to sort of work out in my head over the next month and a half while I can't bat, or 2 months, and then put it into practice once I'm back fit.
Yeah. And you mentioned before that Stuart Broad is not somebody to ever, cry on camera. But was there any tears shed from him in the dressing room with those kind of farewell speeches?
There actually wasn't. I thought there might be. But no, there wasn't. I think Broady, being the guy he is, he actually ended up speaking about the team more than himself. It wasn't about, I've loved this, I've loved that. And he's basically just talked about how much he loves playing for the team. That changed room there. He spoke, as Broady does, he spoke amazingly. And then he sort of makes everyone be like, can we just start the next series now? Because it's a great bunch of guys. We have a lot of fun together. And so no, I think he basically just said what kept him going for, especially over the last year or so, especially after he got dropped from that Caribbean tour, was how much he's enjoyed playing Test cricket under Baz Stokesy and then the guys he had in the changing room. So no, it was very... He shows emotion, but he doesn't, not through tears.
Ollie, I'm going to ask you one final thing, which is on the question of World Test Championship points and over rates, because, of course, when you do travel to India, that will be part of the World Test Championship. But the team have been docked 19 of the 28 points that were on offer in this Ashes series. Australia lost points as well for over rates. But why do you think it is that teams are frequently slow these days? And what can be done to help?
I think frequently slow. The issue is when you're playing cricket in England, Australia and New Zealand and South Africa, you're bowling seam all day. When you go to India, there's not going to be an issue. You can bowl 100 overs in a day. And being out there, it feels a lot of the time, I know it's frustrating for the crowd, but it feels a lot of the time that if you're going to have the chats with the bowlers and the captain's going to set fields, it's honestly so hard to keep up with the over rate. And you're basically going, especially when we played those 4 tight test matches where you want to get your tactics right. You don't want to rush through it just for the sake of and potentially risk losing a game for the sake of some points and some money. You want your priority is to win the game and get your tactics right. And we made a conscious effort. I mean, in the first 2 games, I know we got docked a lot, but when they need 30 to win, and we're obviously going to slow down because, we're thinking, we need to get the angle of that right. We need to make sure, do we take the new ball? We need to talk about that. And it's frustrating for the crowd. I completely understand it, but why can't, I think everyone in the changing room is like, why can't we just play that? The players are happy to keep going until we get the 90 overs in. So why can't we just, if the light's okay, just play until the light's bad enough, until the 90 overs have been bowled? It's different once rain gets involved and you add on all this time, but if there's no rain involved and the sun's shining, even if it's just another half an hour, like we do in county cricket, I know there's TV and all this, but it's frustrating because, hopefully we can go and make the championship final. It's not something we really talk about, and hopefully near the time, but if it's the reason for that, because you're putting a bit more time into your decisions, that is probably the frustration with us. And that's not even talking about the money. That's just the points.
Well, it didn't take away anything from the entertainment value of the series, and congratulations for the role that you've played, and we're really looking forward to seeing you back in action, and hopefully it won't be too long that we see you with bat in hand once again. Thanks so much for being with us.
Cheers. Nice one.
That's Ollie Pope then, England vice captain, and great to hear from him. Jim, just on the over rates, can much be done about that, having listened to Ollie's perspective?
It's somewhere in between the spectacle and the need to get on with the game. And that's the problem. As Maria Erasmus said to me at Lord's, maybe we need another 15 minutes, 45 instead of half an hour at the end of the day to try and get through, because it's not working. And frankly, most teams, when there are seamers involved, as Ollie Pope suggested, pay lip service to the over rate because they're too busy sorting their fields out and doing whatever, and all the other stuff that comes into it with DRS and concussion tests and blokes coming on the field when they should be shooed off by the umpires. All of that adds to the time. But it's the shrug of the shoulders from Ben Stokes that tells you the story when Maria Erasmus said to me at Edgbaston, "Ben, 12 overs in the last hour?" And he just looked at him and said, "Well, it's a spectacle that counts. Everyone loves this." So there we are. I don't know how we're going to sort it out in the short term, but it is an issue.
Charu, on Stuart Broad then, I actually saw him just the other day because he's finished the Ashes, had a day of sleep to get over a late night visit, which ended up in a fast food joint. And then the very next day he's back into TV commentary. He actually said he didn't know where the match ball was. He'd asked the umpire, no one quite knew what happened to it at the end of the day. And I asked him, well, did he take a bail? And he said, I didn't think of that. So he might go back and look for a bail as a memento after that magic moment. But do you think we will see the likes of him, James Anderson, again in Test cricket when you consider the number of matches they've played and clocking up, in Anderson's case, closing in on 700 wickets, and Broad having now finished his career with more than 600?
Well, this partnership has been exceptional, without doubt. But you know how it is in the modern game, and there's so much cricket being played that surely such records are likely to be matched, if not broken, in the future. And I might take the liberty of mentioning that about the only record, of course, it was a different era in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, that may not be broken. It's just the prolific batting record of Sir Don Bradman. But I think every time a near legend retires, people do keep saying, oh, what next? Where will we next get such a player? But, they keep coming. And everything in the world just, improves, whether it's distances or timings or performances or the number of runs scored or in cricket, all the rest of the records. So, yeah, there will be people who will bowl for long and will bowl well. But this has been an outstanding partnership. And if you get one bowler bowling long enough to have another one bowling with you, with that length of time, is just quite incredible. And they've, of course, done so well. It's not just bowling well together, but there's so many options that England had over all these years. Yet these two were surely, way above the rest, which is incredible.
Well, that was all we've got time for on this week's Stump. So my thanks to Jim Maxwell and Charu Sharma, and to all of you. And we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.